welcome to a new day of Vesper.5. We're still fast traveling as we have been for some time now, and I believe we will arrive in the next town on the 12th. So, what is it today? Today's the 9th. Hang on, wait, so today's the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, it'll be Sunday! Ah, that's perfect timing. Wow. More or less. Means we can actually do something on a Sunday, which is nice. Not that it really matters at this point, but, you know. And we were going to spend a few days in that town, right? Yeah. What happens if you arrive and it's not the right day? Well, then you're going to have to... I don't know, let's move right. Hey, where's the goddamn divide, man? I don't want this to finish. It's taking too long. Well, you've got a whiles to go yet, I know that. I know, you don't have to friggin' remind me. Anyway, speaking of things that are slightly frustrating, I am a huge fan of the Yakuza series, or the Ryuga Gotoku series, as it's known in Japan. In case you don't know, which really, well, I suppose it's not all that popular, so there's probably a few people that don't know what it is. Yakuza 1, was this game. It's about this dude, it's set in Japan. It's about this dude who, is a member of the Yakuza, or the Japanese Mafia. Takes the fall for his, blood brother, for killing the head boss, goes to jail, comes out 20 years later? Or 10 or 20 years later, I can't remember how many years it was before he comes out. Now, because everyone thinks he killed this big boss, all the Yakuza hate the shit out of him. So as you're running through the streets, you can run through the streets of in the game it's called Kamurocho. In real life, it's a real life place called Kabukicho, which is like a red light district. So as you're running through the streets, Yakuza would just stop you and come up to you, and you'd have random battles. And it would be very Streets of Rage-ish in the fact that you can pick up weapons but 3D Streets of Rage kind of thing with RPG elements. It was great. It was a great game, and the story was fantastic. Then there was Yakuza 2, Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4. There was another game that was released that was never actually released in the West called Yakuza Kenzan, which was set in the Edo period of Japan. And it was the same character, more or less, except he was actually famous swordsman Musashi Minamoto. And it was a bit of a different story, and that was interesting. But a lot of the characters that have been in the series reoccurred in this game, and I bought that. And after reading a guide on what was happening in the cutscenes, I played the game, and it's very enjoyable. Now, Yakuza 4 is the last game that was released in the West. However, they didn't stop making games, they just stopped releasing them in the West. There was Yakuza 5, which I actually own, and I really want to play it. I've been trying to play it, but there's no real guide on the internet. There's a guide, but it's not very useful. I want something back in the day, with Kenzan, and I don't know about 2 as well, I think. Yeah, I think all of them. 2, Kenzan, 3, and 4. 4? Yes, I think so. There's a guy on Game FAQs called The Patrick, who made the best freaking FAQs. And he made it from the Japanese version. So he would explain what was happening in the cutscenes, and then it was also a great guide for trying to 100% those games, because these are it's one series of games where I actually enjoy trying to go in there and collect all the collectibles and do all the side missions and stuff. I usually don't really like doing all that stuff too much. I like doing a little bit, but I don't like going through and platinuming it. But yeah, I've platinumed I've platinumed, that's the one, all of the Yakuza games to date. Except for Kanzan, I feel that I don't need to, because it's all Japanese. Yeah. If it was in English, I would, but yeah. Anyway. So, what was I talking about? Yeah, so this guy makes the greatest things. He hasn't made one for 5, and any subsequent games yet. There's a guide, it's like a wiki that says that it, has everything you need to know, but it doesn't really feel like it does. So, I don't know. Seems kind of dumb. And that's what I really just want. All I really want, I don't need anything else about the game or like systems or anything like that. I can figure all that stuff out myself. What I can't figure out is what's happening in the cutscenes. This is too confusing for me. And it's a crying shame that they didn't release 5 in the West. It would have been really nice. I guess it was just too big a job, and not worth the money to localize it. Oh well, because 5 is supposed to be a really big game. Like, I've barely scratched the surface of the game, and it's huge apparently. There's like tons of cities, tons of side quests. 5 characters. It's insane. It's insane. Anyway, then they've made since then they've made another game, which is Yakuza, well, it's not Yakuza, it's Ryuga Gotoku. God, what's it called? Ishin, or whatever it is, which translates to restoration. This is another game sort of set. It seems like when they made Kanzan, it was the first game on the PS3, so it was kind of like a test. And this is also the first game, although it also comes out on the PS3. It's like the first game on the PS4. So, it's maybe another test. Again, this is set in, Edo? Yes, yes and no. It's set in the late periods of Edo, early Meiji, when the Meiji Restoration was taking place. Which is basically outing the old system of having a shogun, and creating some sort of a Western system, and allowing Westerners to come in and influence Japanese culture, which is what happened in that period. And you play as, same guy, but he plays as another famous sort of figure in Japanese history, Sakamoto Ryuma. And I've played the demo of that. I would like to play the game. Well, I'm certainly not going to buy it until I finish, or if it's in Japanese, until I finish 5, which might take a while. But I don't think that's ever going to come out either in the West, to be honest. I think 5 had more chance. But anyway, and now there's a new game coming out. It was released 2 months ago, called Yakuza 0, or Ryuga Gotoku 0, which is actually a throwback game set before the events of the first game? Before the events? Yeah. So because at the beginning of the first game, it's like 1980 something, and you take the fall and you go to jail, and then it time skips up to the present day. Because all the games are set, all the main games are set in the present day. To the date, in fact. And this game apparently is going to go back to the 80s, back to before, the events at the beginning of the first game, and tell an interesting, another story, which would be interesting as well. But, and people have made the joke, yes, it's called Yakuza 0 because it has 0 chance of coming to the West. Ha ha ha, you're so funny, fuck all of you. I hate it. I want to play these games, man. I want them to localize it. There was a ray of hope back when we were still hoping that 5 might get localized. there was a ray of hope when Sega bought Atlas. Atlas, maker of the Persona games and the Shin Megami Tensei games, and Catherine. Because Atlas has a really good localization branch. They localize everything that Atlas makes. And they were hoping that, or we were hoping, that maybe Sega would let Atlas take over localization of the Yakuza games. Then all the games would get localized. Maybe even Kenzan might get localized. That'd be awesome. But it doesn't seem like that is going to happen. Like, there's no real news of that, and I think someone in Sega said that there's no possibility of these games getting localized. And it looks like Atlas is just focusing on making their games. So, you know, the new Persona 5 that's coming out. Or it's only just been announced. There's Persona Q and Dancing All Night, and they just released Ultimax. All these weird games that I still haven't gotten into. I really want to play Persona 4. I just haven't dipped my toes in there. I don't have a lot of time to play games anyway, and I've got tons of games that I can play. But yeah. In other news, I'm still, I thought we weren't going to talk about it. Yeah, I wasn't going to talk about it, but I can't help it now. The search for the Evangelion games continues. I've gotten my hands on a Dreamcast, and I've gotten my hands on most of the Dreamcast games. Which one don't you have? Well, there's a game that's not actually a game. It's actually like a, an illustration thing. But I've actually downloaded like all the pictures that are in it anyway, so I can just show the pictures. You know? And there's a couple of games I still don't have though. Also, I wasn't actually intending on getting it. Like when I started going for the Saturn and the Nintendo 64, I was like, I'm like buying consoles for these games. Now, the Nintendo 64, granted, it's like $20, so I'm down for that. But the what is it? The Saturn. Well, I didn't actually buy it. I'm buying that off of a friend. He's also lending me a Dreamcast, but there's a game. Now I could get it on the PS2, or I could get it on the Dreamcast. Well, there's three. There's two on the Dreamcast, and one of those Dreamcast games was also ported to the PS2, and it's the typing game, Evangelion typing. And I want it. I want that game, but I haven't been able to find the PS2 game yet. If I find the PS2 game, I'm set, and I'll just play the PS2 game. Otherwise, if I can find, or I haven't been able to find, there's not a lot of Dreamcast games out there. There's not a lot of Saturn games either. Thankfully, my friend actually had one of the Evangelion games that I wanted, and I was able to pick up the other two. But Dreamcast, yeah, like, I don't know, like, because, well, if I get the PS2 version, I'd be set. All I need to do is go out and buy a friggin' USB keyboard, because my current keyboard is a Bluetooth one. So I need a USB keyboard to work with the game, and then I'd be done. And I don't know how much bullshit you have to do if I want to do that with the Dreamcast. I don't know if just plugging in a USB keyboard is all I need to do, and that scares me. So I don't know. But with the DS, I looked up like trying to record, like capture video of it. Apparently, it's just not possible unless you like do illegal shit to it, and I'm not going to do that. But most people say that you can just record it with a camera. So, I don't know if I really want to do that, but I might. I might do that. That's the Pucci Evangelion game, yeah. And the last game is one of the more recent games, actually, on the PSP. It is the Third Impact Sound. It's a rhythm game. So Evangelion rhythm game. Evangelion's got everything, man. They've got fighting games, they've got a Smash Brothers game, they've got tactical RPGs, like grid-based RPG games, strategy games. They've got detective games, they've got beat 'em ups, they've got like of course visual novels. There's tons of those. They've got kind of like interactive movie type games that are like cutscenes. I think that's what the Saturns are. I'm not sure. I haven't really played them. What else? Well, there's the Nintendo 64 game, which is a bit of everything. It's a bit of fighting. It's a bit of like visual novel. It's a bit of like you know, follow the prompts on the screen. And then they've got rhythm games, and then they've got keyboard typing games, and then they've got just pictures. That's technically a game, and then put your Eva. I don't know what. And then there's all the racing games, dating sim games. There's everything. It's amazing. Like I could very well touch on every topic, like every genre of video game next year when I do this friggin' year of Evangelion. Can't wait to get started. What are we, October now? God, I got like 2.5 months I'm gonna wait. Well, that's if you're gonna start on January 1st. I haven't decided yet if I want to start on January 1st or like August 1st. Because like August 1st is technically when the series starts. And that's when you'll start playing the Raising Iron Army game, because that's going to be a weekly game, once a week game. Kind of like this, only once a week, and, you know, we'll condense the blogging into, like, everything that happened in the whole week into one episode. Which would be a lot more interesting to watch than this, I would assume. But yeah, the PSP game, right. So the PSP game, I don't own a PSP, I've never owned a PSP. My friend had one a long time ago. I wanted to get a PSP to play Portable Ops, but I just never got around to it, and I've just given up because Kojima decided that's not really canon, and I've watched a long play of the game anyway, so I don't see the point, really. Except I really want to play this game. And apparently you can actually do video out on it. I don't know how any of this works. Like remote play, I think that's with Vita, but remote play is like it'll go through the PlayStation. If so, I can record it straight from the PlayStation. That'd be convenient. Otherwise, I don't know. But I don't know if I really want to, like, the game's still pretty expensive. It's like, well, on the PSN store it's like $60, but at least I know that I can find it and buy it. The PSP is still expensive. It's not a cheap console. It's not like $20 for the Nintendo 64. So I don't really know if I want to make that investment for one game. And it might even be a really short game because it's just a rhythm game. Yeah. I don't know if that one's going to be included, but we'll see how we go. We'll see if I can find someone that's got a PSP like lying around and I'll just borrow it. That'd be nice. Yeah, apparently PSPs are not region locked. I don't know how that works. But anyway, well, you could just buy a Vita. I could. That'd be even more expensive though. Yeah, but then you'd have a Vita. Yeah, to play nothing that I want to play. Well, there might be something coming out that you might want to play, and you can do you can buy a Vita TV. I could buy a Vita TV. Well, actually, I don't know if that's. You'd probably be better off buying a Vita and having it go through the PS3 and then recording the PS3. They're just buying a Vita TV. You're right. But anyway, when we come back, I'll have something else to talk about. So, unfortunately, all of the Yakuza games from this point on, by the sounds of it, are just not going to get localized. That's a crying shame. I'm still probably going to buy them and play them. But, yeah. It's a shame that until someone makes some good guides, until Patrick gets on it, well, I think he's busy and he's got life things to do, because his guides were really detailed and intensive, so he probably just doesn't have the time to do that sort of stuff anymore. Until there's a guide, I don't know if I'm really ever even going to play Yakuza 5 anymore, because it's fun. It's just I need to know what's happening. I can't understand anything. Anyway, for now, my name is Leo, and I'll see you